welcome to my 29th video. Thank you so much for joining me if you are a return subscriber, or hello if you are new. My name is Adrina. I'm an Australian teacher, a Teachers Pay Teacher seller and a mum. So things get a little bit crazy around here. In today's video though, I'm going to be addressing the question, what is Clipart? Like, what actually is it? I had a friend the other day actually ask me like how I was going, and I told them how I was creating Clipart online, and they're like, you know, what's Clipart? Like, what is this? What is it? And so I thought, oh, I might make a video addressing what actually Clipart is and how to use it, because there are some people out there that aren't really sure what Clipart is, and they don't really know what to do with it, what you can do with it, and like what actually it is in general. So I thought in this video I'm going to break it down, tell you exactly what it is, exactly what you can do with it, and how to use it. So if this is something that you'd like to know a bit more about, then keep on watching and I'm going to get straight into it. Let's go. So Clipart in simple terms is basically an image or a concept that is created or made into a digital graphic. So graphic basically meaning something that is drawn, written, or something that is engraved. In simple terms, it's just a graphic or an image that has been turned digital, or a digital graphic. So as an example, here are a few different Clipart pieces that I'll put on screen, so that you can kind of get an idea of what a digital graphic or Clipart is, and you can kind of see that there. So that leads to the question, how do you actually create Clipart? So Clipart can be created in so many different ways. I'll talk briefly about the two main ways Clipart can be created. So first of all, Clipart can be created by hand and then digitized. So if you are somebody that loves painting in the traditional sense and you wanted to create Clipart, you would do a painting with your actual materials, and then you would turn that painting or drawing or turn that art piece into a digital graphic to create Clipart. So that is the first way to do it by hand. The second way of creating Clipart is actually using digital software. So there are so many different programs nowadays that you can actually use to create Clipart. I personally use Procreate, and that is the tool of my choice at this point, but there are so many different types of programs that allow you to create Clipart on. For example, you've got Adobe Illustrator, you have Inkscape, you have Krita, you've got so many different other kind of programs that you can use to actually create Clipart, but they're just some off the top of my head. So now you have a basic understanding of the two ways you can actually create Clipart. This leads us then to what types of Clipart can you create, because there are two kind of types of Clipart that you can actually create, the main ones at least, which I'll go over today. You might have heard, if you are part of the TPT community, the Teachers Pay Teachers community, or even if you are not, you may have heard the terms raster and vector come up. So basically these are types of Clipart. You can have Clipart that's either raster based or Clipart that is vector based. Now there is a difference, and I will explain that. So basically when you have a program that uses or creates raster based Clipart images, you have a program that is working with pixels. So this is different to a vector based program, because a vector-based program utilizes a mathematical geometric modeling system. Basically, it utilizes lines, curves, and points, and allows that type of particular Clipart to be scaled in size without losing any quality. They're the biggest differences between raster and vector. The program I use, Procreate, to create my Clipart on is actually a raster-based program. So unfortunately, it does not have the capabilities to turn my Clipart into vector-based images. What you'll find if you do use Procreate, you'll find the bigger that you scale up your Clipart, you will lose some quality within the lines, and you'll notice that the lines aren't as crisp or clear. Whereas if you were to use a program like Adobe Illustrator, for example, and you create a vector Clipart that way, then you'll find if you enlarge those Clipart pieces, you will find that you don't lose any quality through that. So basically, in simple terms, raster is a pixel-based program that does lose quality if you choose to scale it up to make it really big. Vector-based does not lose the quality in the lines. Raster-based Clipart images, for what I do personally and for people that are buying Clipart on TBT, they don't necessarily need to have vector-based Clipart because they're not using it for big scale projects. So vector-based Clipart images are really good for creating logos, creating charts, creating icons, creating anything that has a really nice flat straight edge, and that will print out really nicely when you are using a vector-based Clipart image. If you do use Clipart created on things like Procreate, which is raster based, you may find that if you are to scale it up really big, you do lose a little bit of clarity. But as the designer, as the creator, it really depends on what you're using it for and how big the Clipart that you're using is going to be. But they are really just good considerations to think about if you are wondering about the differences between raster versus vector Clipart. Now with that said, let's talk about file format. There are different types of file formats that I use with Clipart. The three main ones I'm going to talk about today are JPEGs, PNGs and SVGs. There are other formats, but these are the three that I have seen most predominantly, and they're the ones that are most commonly used, at least on Teachers Pay Teachers, and for the majority of other platforms, these three file formats are the biggest ones that people use. Okay, so without going too complex or detailed with the file formats, you do have three main types. So you've got JPEG, PNG and SVG. So JPEGs usually come, and I'll show you an example here, with a white background around it already compressed into that image. PNGs, however, are different because you can have that same image, but you have a transparent background so you can see through it and you can only just see the clip art. PNGs are most commonly used because you can lay out things on top and behind. So it's really good for layering and for creating designs that you want to have multiple of images in. So compared to JPEGs, when you have the white background, you can't layer that as seamlessly, whereas PNGs you can. And that's why PNGs I see are more predominant, especially in the Teachers Pay Teachers world. When you buy a Clipart set, majority of all the Clipart set will be PNG. Or if you download a set that says it's vector, that will mean you can enlarge that PNG without losing any quality. But if it's just a high quality PNG, making sure that it's at 300 dpi will allow you to still have a high quality image, but you may lose a little bit of resolution around the edges, so it might be just that little less clear. The third file format is SVG, which is very similar to a PNG, but it is mostly used in sublimation designs, so basically printing things off using a Cricut and placing them on particular products. But one thing that does differ between an SVG and a PNG is you can pull apart an SVG to get all the layers, whereas a PNG is compressed into one. So an SVG, if you wanted to pull it apart and change the colors and alter it or edit it in a different way, you can, whereas PNG will not allow that. But on Teachers Pay Teachers, if you are someone following from the Teachers Pay Teachers realm, a lot of people on Teachers Pay Teachers don't do SVGs. You find that more so on platforms like Creative Market, Creative Fabrica, and just some other platforms like Etsy and things like that. Teachers Pay Teachers is predominantly PNG or JPEG based. Okay guys, now let's talk about how to actually download Clipart. So I'm on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I'm just going to basically show you very simple and easy how you can download Clipart. So in the search bar, I just typed in free Clipart and I came across this Clipart set, which is a back to school Clipart set with school supplies in it, created by Photo Clips. Now before you even want to download anything, especially if it's free, the first thing that you want to do actually is look at the terms of use. Now, if you go down to the description, it will explain to you what's in the Clipart pack, and it will let you know whether you can use it for personal and commercial use, or if it's only for personal use. So you can see here, they've got personal use. These graphics may be incorporated in original documents that you can create for classroom use, whether used in digital or printed form, so as long as you lock your PDFs. You must credit photo clips by pasting our credit graphic into your documents or linking to our TPT store. So we know that for majority of the clip art on Teachers Pay Teachers, they will allow personal use, but this is the most important thing, to make sure that whenever you're downloading, especially things that you get for free, that you have a commercial use part. Now you do need to read this quite carefully, because every clip artist, terms of use are different. For this particular set, it says commercial use. You may use these graphics to accompany teaching materials you intend to sell, including Teachers Pay Teachers documents, as long as you lock your PDFs and give credit back to photo clips by pasting our credit graphic into your document or linking to our TPT store. This includes, but is not limited to, digital, print ready, and physical items. So you can see that is very clear that yes, if you're intending to sell it, you can actually use this, as given that you credit and link. So let's go ahead. We've looked at it is a commercial use product. Let's download, for example. You can see in the bottom left hand corner it'll load. I am using a Mac, so it might be slightly different to where yours downloads. I'm just going to press the arrow and click Show in Finder. Sometimes it will pop up. I've got lots of things I've downloaded, but I'm just going to move this over to the file I've created on my desktop, which is called Clipart Downloads. So let me just move that over. And so just give it a second, it'll load. Now you can see in this file, you'll notice it has like a little white, it's not a blue file like this that you can see here. You see it's just like a little white piece of paper with a tiny little zip on it. Now this is basically called, as simple as it is, a zip file. Now on a Mac, all you need to do to unzip this file is double click it. Now I know on a Windows it is different. You might have to right click and you might have to go down to extract, or you might have another way of unlocking or unzipping your folder if you are on a Windows computer. So here you can see now, so in this particular clip art set, they have their terms of use, which a majority of all clip art sets will have on Teachers Pay Teachers. So it's really good to kind of just look at that first before you go ahead and do anything, just so you can kind of make sure that those things are correct and that you're allowed to use things. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but just obviously open terms of use, have a read, and make sure that everything is okay for you to use it in your product. So let's actually have a look at the actual clip art now. So it looks awesome and looks really fun, looks really good. And basically, if you want to be able to use this clip art, you can open up a Word document, a PowerPoint presentation, a Keynote, whatever you like. In this example, let's just open up PowerPoint. So I've opened up PowerPoint, and basically if you want to use clip art, all you need to do is you can either drag it over from your file, simply just like this, or you can go insert and then select your clip art and just click insert. Now this clip art set is actually really good. So I'm actually going to make sure that I link it, because I'm talking about this in my video too. So I will link the actual link below if you like to access this particular download. There have been lots of people loving this download. Just make sure if you are going to use this that you do have to credit them and link to their store. Now that is how you basically download something off Teachers Pay Teachers. There are plenty of other marketplaces, for example, things such as Creative Fabrica, which I have up here now, which also sell and have free graphics that you can also, or free clip art that you can download. So you'll see just by looking here, you'll see when you're reading the titles, for example, this one is Watercolor Greenery, 12 element PNG plus bonus. So we know it's PNG files there, so we know that there's transparent background, so we can layer those. That's awesome. And that is looking like a really good deal to download that if you are doing any sort of things with, decor or whatnot. Now, if we go over to the next one here, you can see how it has on the side SVG, EPS, PNG, DXF. Now, these DXF and EPS I didn't speak about, but you can see SVG and PNG are an option, so they will both be provided in this download. And so basically, if you are wanting to download something off something like Creative Fabrica, all you need to do, let's have a look at this. We can see PNG and JPEG. Let's go this one. Coffee stickers and planner stickers created by Vitamin KA26. You can see, okay, this is free. The coffee stickers and cookies I've got in there. Stickers will decorate any design. The folder contains, it tells you, the folder has a PNG version and a JPEG version, so we know that one has the white background and one has just a transparent background. So the resolution of them is 300 dpi. It tells you the size, but it tells you here, so one PNG file stickers on one sheet without background. So it doesn't say that they are separate, so that's interesting. So I would imagine it literally is going to be just one sheet or one sticker. So let's actually have a look at this. Let's download it. And to download it, you just simply press download, and then the same thing, it'll download. Just open it up from your folder. You obviously don't have to move it over, but I just like to move my Clipart things into a folder while I'm trying to show you this, just so it makes it easier. Again, I can see it's here, and I'm going to just double click on a Mac. Again, if you are on a Windows or something different, then like you will have to probably most likely right click and press extract all or whatever you have as an option on yours to unzip your folder. Now, you'll notice when you do unzip it, the folders turn blue, and that means you can pretty much delete the zip file now. So I usually just like to move them to the bin once the download has finished downloading, so I'm not left with lots of unzipped folders. So that's kind of just something that I like to do. So you can see here, so they've got the JPEG version, so they've got a white background, and this PNG version, I would imagine, let's have a look at this actually. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see here, the PNG version doesn't, so it's just like one image all together, but the PNG version doesn't have the white background. So if I was just to change the background, just so you can kind of see, they are all together but in a PNG format. But if I was to bring over the JPEG, you'll see it has the white background like I explained in the video earlier. So you can kind of see the difference between that. So that's that, but it is pretty simple and easy to be able to download things off any of these kind of sites. And I'm going to make a video down the track too of where you can get free clip art that you can use for commercial use in the future. So do stay tuned for that, because I know a few good sites. And I know I'm going to show you in the future too, like a few things that you can create with clip art as well, or what you can kind of do, and some tricks and tips on PowerPoint of how to maximize your clip art as well. So that's basically that. I showed you how you can download your clip art from both Teachers Pay Teachers and Creative Fabrica. So hopefully that has helped understand what clip art is and how to download it and how to add it to your program to be able to use and to get started with creating. Okay guys, so hopefully you newbies out there that aren't really sure about what clip art was has a better understanding of what clip art is now. So if you are looking at becoming a clip artist for Teachers Pay Teachers, or just curious as to how to create your own clip art for your own personal use or for commercial purposes, then feel free to go through and have a look at some other videos that I have on my channel as I walk you through the process. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Adios!